Welcome to the Explainer. So, picture this. You're in the middle of a high-stakes, super heated debate round. The clock is furiously ticking down, the judge is literally watching your every single move, and two debaters have just dropped incredibly strong, deeply researched, and completely opposite arguments. How on earth do we figure out who comes out on top? Well, today we're going to unlock the fundamental secret that absolutely separates the amateurs from the champions. We're looking at exactly how to weigh your argument against theirs in what we like to call the comparison game. To really set the stage here, let's look at a classic clash. Imagine debater number one argues passionately for student health. They've got the facts, they've got the urgency, it sounds great. But then, debater number two stands up and makes a super compelling case for student convenience. Both points are totally valid. Both points are argued beautifully. So, looking at those two excellent points, which side actually wins? It's a genuine question. Who do you think takes this round? The secret here is that the answer doesn't just depend on giving the best arguments. You can't just speak your truth out into the void and cross your fingers for a victory. The winner is determined by something way more strategic. It depends entirely on comparing them. And that brilliantly illustrates our core thesis for today. Debate is a comparison game. I really want to completely shatter a common beginner illusion right now. Lots of novices step up to the podium thinking that debate simply means saying your ideas as clearly as possible, maybe having the coolest evidence, and then just hoping the judge naturally agrees with you. But strong debaters, they do something entirely different. They don't just present, they compare. They take their arguments and they literally smash them directly against their opponent's arguments to explicitly explain which idea actually matters more. Okay, so what does that actually sound like in practice? Well, it sounds a bit like this. Our argument about student health matters more than their argument about convenience. See, instead of just saying our argument is really important, which kind of leaves the judge guessing, strong debaters use the specific comparative phrasing. By explicitly stating that health matters more than convenience, they're doing all the heavy lifting for the judge. Now the judge knows exactly what two concepts to weigh against each other. The whole guessing game? Totally gone. Section 1, Comparing Arguments in Action. Let's dive right into how this works in a real-world scenario by breaking down a topic we can probably all relate to. Take a look at this scenario without comparison. On the left side, we've got a really strong argument. Homework reduces sleep. It's factual, it's super impactful. But your opponent counters with what we have on the right. Homework builds responsibility. Another completely solid, valid point. Now, if the round stops right here, you have a major problem. The judge is totally stuck. They're basically forced to choose between two isolated, strong points without any kind of map on how to navigate between them. It's a dead tie, and trust me, you never want to leave a tie in the hands of a judge. The solution here is a winning comparative statement. Sleep affects health every day, so it matters more than responsibility training. Notice what just happened there. The debater didn't just loudly repeat that homework reduces sleep. Actually, they explained exactly why sleep is the trump card. By pointing out the everyday health impact, this brilliant little statement breaks the tie completely. It explicitly tells the judge which argument is mathematically and logically stronger. Part 2. Inside the judge's mind. So we really need to shift our perspective for a second and take a trip inside the mind of the person actually holding the scorecard. Why is this explicit comparison absolutely crucial to them? Well, you have to remember, judges are listening to a massive amount of information from both sides. They cannot, well actually they shouldn't, decide automatically just by hearing two conflicting ideas. They desperately need debaters to explicitly answer three big questions for them. First, which argument is fundamentally stronger? Second, which argument affects more people in scope or magnitude? And third, which argument matters more overall in the grand scheme of things? If you provide these answers, you aren't just a debater anymore. You're essentially a guide, helping the judge confidently make their final decision. Part 3. Test your skills. Mini challenge. All right, it is your turn to step up to the podium. Let's put everything we've just talked about to the test. Get ready to evaluate this. I'm going to show you two different debate options, and I want you to tell me which statement is undeniably the stronger move to make in a competitive round. Okay, here we go. Option 1 is simply, exercise is important. Option 2 is, exercise is more important than extra homework because it improves long-term health.
All right, which one is the stronger play?
And the correct answer is option 2. If you picked option 2, you nailed it. And why is that? Because it doesn't just throw a random fact out into the void. It directly compares the arguments. It takes the concept of exercise, weighs it right against extra homework, and then gives the judge the exact metric, long-term health, to prove exactly why it wins. And guys, that is exactly how you secure a victory. Let's keep this interactive momentum rolling with a rapid-fire quiz to really lock these core concepts into place. Question 1. Is debate mostly about A, speaking longer, B, comparing arguments, or C, speaking louder? And question 2. Does comparison help judges A, ignore arguments, B, decide winners, or C, change topics? Take a quick scan of those options and make your choices. All right, let's reveal those answers. For question 1, the answer is B, comparing arguments. And for question 2, the answer is also B, decide winners. If you got those right, huge congratulations. You'd officially grasped the true underlying mechanics of a successful debate round. It is definitely not about your volume, and it's certainly not about how long you talk. It's about weighing ideas so the judge knows exactly who to vote for. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought. Today, we learned that debate is, ultimately, a comparison game. You have to compare, not just present. But knowing that you need to compare, well, that's only half the battle. The real magic is in the execution. So you got to ask yourself, how do you actually explain clearly why your side matters more? What specific words, metrics, and frameworks do you use to prove your argument's total dominance? Well, you'll have to join me next time as we dive into exactly how to master the why. Until then, keep comparing, keep analyzing, and keep learning.